there! Welcome to my channel. My name is Crafty Kathy and I'm the owner and creator of Kit's Vintage Farmhouse in beautiful Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I am just tickled pink that you stopped in to craft and to spend a little time with me today. This is my last compilation video, and this is some retro and vintage DIYs. There's just something so nostalgic and beautiful about those Christmases that are long gone. I remember growing up and having all my family together. My grandparents were there, and I love to memorialize that time in my DIYs. So enough of my blabbing. Let's see some retro and vintage DIYs, and I hope that you guys enjoy them. I went to Google Images and I just pulled off a couple of simple pictures. These are totally free. I just Googled vintage Christmas images and I came up with these. I just printed them out on my regular printer paper, and I'm going to cut out the ones that I want to use. Now, anytime that I use something that I've done on my printer like this on just regular printer paper, I always spray that Rust-Oleum matte clear on top of it because it kind of seals that ink in, so when you use Mod Podge with it, it's not going to run all over the place. So I picked some of my very favorite little golden books, which was The Night Before Christmas and Rudolph. My mom used to read those to me all the time. And at Hobby Lobby, I paid only $3 for these 3 ornaments. They're cubed ornaments. They're normally $6.99, but they've got a 60% off sale going right now, so I paid $3 for these. What I did was put Mod Podge on one side, and I'm going to place my picture with the actual picture part down on top of that Mod Podge, because you're going to be looking through the ornament and seeing that, which is going to be on the back side. And then I just kind of leave it alone and let it dry. But I put a really good coat of Mod Podge, not goopy, but just enough to where it's going to make this image stick. And I did this to all 3 images. Just put down my Mod Podge and put down my picture with the picture part on the Mod Podge. Just use your fingers to go around and just make sure there's no wrinkles or bubbles. But honestly, I didn't have any trouble with wrinkles or bubbles. It was super easy to do. When I run into the wrinkles and bubbles, it's when I'm using a whole lot of Mod Podge. So I just used enough to make sure it's going to stick, but I did use kind of a good healthy portion as you see here. While that first coat of Mod Podge is drying, I just painted the little tops of these ornaments. I painted one red, one green, and one yellow. Now, when these totally dry, I'm going to put another coat of Mod Podge on the back, but for right now, we just want that first coat to dry, and it just takes a few minutes, really. Now, when it's totally dry, this is what it's going to look like, and look how cute this is. Now, the next step is totally optional, but I love to do this. I'm going to seal the back off with Mod Podge. And while it's still wet with the Mod Podge, I'm going to pour all kinds of glitter all over the back and sides of this. I ended up using the chunky glitter on this first one, but to be honest with you, my personal preference is that thin, fine glitter. For whatever reason, it always comes up looking so much prettier on any project I do when I use that super fine glitter. But at the time, I didn't know when I used this chunky glitter. I did add this glitter to all the corners and underneath the ornament, and I just think that it kind of looks better. Now, I put this beautiful silver color on one. On the one where Santa Claus, the little kitties are up there talking to Santa Claus, I used a beautiful fine green glitter, and it came from the Dollar Tree, and I thought the green was really pretty and it kind of stuck out. It's just really bright and vibrant. I like to use the colors of glitter that coordinate with the picture that you've got in there. So I ended up using silver, green, and then for Rudolph, I put a really pretty blue color, and all my glitter came from the Dollar Tree. My next step was to take some of the faux snow from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to fill my ornament only about 1/4 of the way up with the faux snow inside. You don't want to go too much on this, just enough to where it just kind of coats the bottom, and you can put all kinds of cute little decorations in there with your faux snow. I stuck some little red berries in mine. I even put like a tiny piece of a cut up straw that was a candy cane straw. I put that in there. I put some silver bells in some of them. And I also add this stuff. It looks like glitter, like big chunky glitter, but it's actually like small plastic tubes, and it's all different color. It's right beside the glitter in the Dollar Tree. But I think it's really pretty, and it really makes a statement to these ornaments. And then I just pop the top back on each ornament. I cut a pipe cleaner into 4 equal pieces, and I'm just going to glue this to the front and create like a little makeshift frame. Now this is just a personal preference, but I think they look really, really good when you frame out the front of these. It just brings a little something extra to it. And on one of them, I cut 4 pieces of white rickrack to make like a beautiful little frame around the front of it. And no Crafty Cathy project could be complete without my beautiful little vintagey buttons. So I picked 2 green buttons and 2 red ones, just kind of to go around the corners of the one where I put the white, just to give it a little something extra. And y'all let me know what you think about these, but I think these are beautiful and gorgeous, and you can't get more vintage than that. For DIY number 2, it's going to be those vintage dioramas that were very popular back in the 60s and 70s. The ideal thing to use for this would be one of those terrariums that come out in the spring at the Dollar Tree. I didn't have one of these, but I did have a 98-cent ornament from Walmart, and we're going to make it work. And I made a circle using a large tape spool, and I have one of these heat tools. But don't worry if you don't have a heat tool, because I've seen people use hot glue guns and just kind of use the heat from that to make the hole in their ornament. Now, when this thing got really hot, it sliced this like butter. I normally would not have a heat tool in my crafting stash, but Plaid sent me this about a year or 2 ago, and I'm so glad they did, because it came in handy. And there's other projects that I could use this for, so I'm glad I have it. But hey, if you don't have it and you need to make a hole in your ornament, just try your hot glue gun. It will work too. But I just went around and just kind of smoothed out where I cut my hole. And I just used my little sand zipper, or whatever this thing is called. It's that little tiny little sanding zipper, I think it's called, to just make the edges kind of calm down and not be sharp. I have this cute little picture of these little kids dreaming with sugar plums dancing in their heads, and I made sure that it was going to fit in the back. And then I just cut off a piece of cardstock so that it would have a harder back, so it would be a little stiff. And I just used double-sided tape to tape it together, and then to tape it to the very back of my ornament. For my second ornament, I used one of those little snow globes that are out right now at the Dollar Tree, and I just painted it with an acrylic paint that's a very light yellow color. I left the inside portion of it white, and then I just painted the outside and then that little inside rim the yellow color. On the other ornament, I used Petal Pusher by DIY Paint, and I gave it one good coat all over also. I used my heat gun to dry my ornaments, but be really careful when you use heat with these, because it'll make a big dent in it and it will mess up your ornament. Don't ask me how I know that. And on my second one, I picked this beautiful vintage Christmas picture. I stuck it in there, and that's why I painted it blue. I did the same thing with the double-sided tape and put it on cardstock, and so both of my pictures are placed inside. I'm going to go around the rim with hot glue, and I just used like a very skinny ribbon that I have. The ribbon came from the Dollar General, and it's a very vintage vibe of a ribbon. I love it, and it's got the wire in it, so it was really easy to maneuver, and I just went all the way around where I made that little hole on the one ornament. I noticed on all the old dioramas that I had looked at, most of them had like pipe cleaner around the little opening there, which I wanted to add that too to pay homage to the old ones because I'm trying to keep this as vintage as possible. I just wanted to add that ribbon because it gave it a little something extra, and I liked that. So right inside of where that ribbon ended, I added a little bit more hot glue and went around it with the pipe cleaner, and it made it even more bright, and it really attracts your eyes to that opening, which is what I would like. If you're enjoying this content, I would like to ask you to please hit the like button because that really helps me out on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, what in the world are you waiting for? You know I want you to be a part of my family here on YouTube, so please hit that little red subscribe button and become a part of the Crafty Kathy family. I have had so many requests from people asking me to do vintage and retro decor and also Victorian decor, so I have a bunch of videos coming down the pike, and if this is your type of content, I don't want you to miss any of it. Here's what we got so far. Then I'm just going to take some of my little string lights, and I get these off Amazon. They're in my Amazon store if you want some of these. And on one, I just placed the little battery pack right down inside of there, and then I kind of wadded my lights up so that they wouldn't stick up too high and placed them down inside the first one. And I placed a little tree down inside there with just a little dab of hot glue. Then I added some of the faux snow inside, and I made sure to put enough to cover up the wires from my little lights. And on this yellow one, I put a little red pipe cleaner around the front, just like I had done on the blue one. And since this one was like the little snow globe thing, the little closure part, I'm going to put that on the bottom, and I also did use pipe cleaner on it also. I get this cording at the Dollar General. It's right by where the ribbon is. I'm going to use it like a garland and go all around my Christmas tree. And then I just pop the bottom off of that little Christmas tree, and I glue it down inside the ornament. And also notice that I did put this set of string lights on the outside. The little battery pack is on the outside, so it would be easier to turn off and on. And then I just added my little faux snow and everything inside this one. I put just a little bit of Mod Podge and some of those little tube like confetti type pieces that we had placed in our first DIY. I used those on the very top of this ornament. And I placed the cutest little bow made from that cording right on the side there. And I also took this outside and gave it a couple of sprays of that spray glitter that I have. It's a Krylon spray glitter. And I added a little red bell right to the middle of my little ribbon there. To finish the yellow one off, I take one of these little candy pieces that I got from the Hobby Lobby for, I think, $2 for 4 or 5 pieces. I put it on the top, and then I make one of those little bows from the cording and also put that right on the side. And then in the middle of my bow, I also added one of those little red bells, and I took this one outside and sprayed it with the glitter also. I hope you like these. I think they're sweet as can be.
Every night, every day is a high.
My very last DIY is going to be a gorgeous Coca-Cola wreath. I used this poly mesh that I got from the Hobby Lobby, and it's 10 by 30 foot. I was going to use the white, but I didn't end up using that at all. Now, right now, like I said, everything is 60% off at Hobby Lobby, so I think I paid about $3 something for this bunch of deco mesh. It may have been closer to right around $4, but I started off making my wreath in one way, and that's what I'm doing here. I was cutting 30-inch pieces, but I actually didn't even have to cut this at all. Let me show you the easiest way to make a wreath, and it's the way that I made this one. I would lay 2 pieces of deco mesh down, one on top of the other, and I would put the pipe cleaner on it to hold it still, and then I would count out 8 inches, and then I would put the pipe cleaner on it again, and then kind of squish it up, and then count out 8 inches again, and then squish that up. It's called the bubble method wreath, and I put some of my pipe cleaners on the outside 2 rungs and some on the 2 inner rungs. And I would just alternate back and forth on how I put those on there. Once again, you see me placing one on top of the other, and I just kind of squish them together, and I'm going to tie that down. I'm going to secure it with my pipe cleaner, and this one's going on the outer 2 rungs here. I tie it down, and then I'm going to count from where that pipe cleaner is 8 inches over. And then I'm going to squeeze it when I get to the 8 inches and kind of squish it up, and that's where the next pipe cleaner's going. Then I'm going to measure from that pipe cleaner and go over another 8 inches, squish it up, or squish it together, however you want to say, and put the pipe cleaner down once again. And then once you're finished going all the way around your wreath, it just takes a few moments. You're going to use your fingers and fluff this out, and it makes little bubbles all over your wreath, and that's why they call it the bubble wreath. Since I started off doing the wreath in a totally different way, I'm sorry, it was kind of hard for me to film that where it would actually make sense. But basically, you just go every 8 inches and put it down. So I've got this beautiful sign. It's a Coca-Cola Santa. I laid my pipe cleaners down on the back, and that's what's going to secure this. I put a bunch of glue down, pipe cleaner, and then more glue. Then I took a piece of drop cloth and glued it down over the top, because that helps hold that pipe cleaner down and keep it really secure. Because this sign was a little heavy, but I love the Coca-Cola Santa from back in the 80s. So I just use my pipe cleaners and tie that really tight, and that way that Santa's not going to go anywhere, because I put about 6 or 7 pipe cleaners on him. And I actually didn't have enough of the deco mesh to finish out this entire wreath. I had one tiny little section, so I did use a little bit of that white, but only to fill in, and it's going to be covered up anyways by my Santa Claus, so I thought that it would be okay and you're never going to see it. Needless to say, this was a very challenging project for me, and I didn't know how I was going to bring it all together, but I finally got an idea to get it to work, and I love the way that it came out. You guys that follow me often know that I don't like gold very much, and so I didn't like the gold that was going around this, because I felt like it took away from that wreath in some way. So I just painted this outer portion white. And you don't directly have to stay right in those lines, because we're going to cover it up with faux snow and some other things, some glitter and such. So I just did my white acrylic paint all the way around the edge here. When I finally put on 2 coats of that white paint and it dried, I went around with Mod Podge, and then I only had a little bit of the silvery colored glitter that was fine in the very bottom of this little thing that I keep my glitter in. So I actually had to use that to get all around the edges here, But in the end, I put down a couple coats of my Mod Podge and my glitter concoction, and I got it exactly the way that I wanted it, and it was glittered enough to my liking, so then I went to my next step. I've got this 2-inch ribbon that I absolutely love. I pulled it from my stash, and it came from a thrift store, and you can tell it's really old. It has like silvery snowflakes on it, and I'm going to cut 1-inch strips out here. And then I also have this candy cane ribbon that I cut in 8-inch strips, and both of these came from the thrift store, and both of them had like 1982 on the spool, so I know that these are old, and they're exactly from the time frame that this Santa and the Coca-Cola was real big. So here's how I put these together. I dovetailed the ends, by the way. I just put down a piece of each of my snowflakes and my peppermints, and then I'm going to show you how I made these little streamers in just a moment. But then I just put my tie wrap through the middle, or I'm sorry, not my tie wrap, but my pipe cleaner through the middle, and just tied it down, and I made about 12 of these little bundles here. Now I'm going to show you how I made these little streamers. I have these little curly things. I'm not really sure what you call it. Curly string, maybe? I don't know. You get it at the party section in Hobby Lobby. You can also get this from the Dollar Tree. I've seen it before. These were just 99 cents for each spool. And I pulled off about 2-foot pieces, and I pulled off 2 of the red and 1 white, and I would just tie them in a knot around 2 of my fingers, and just like place a knot right in the center of these, and that way it would have something that I could use to kind of hold it together with. Then I would just use my scissors and curl these so that they would have, you know, like be curly and really pretty everywhere. But that's the little streamers that I put in the middle of my 2 little bows, and then I would just put my pipe cleaner around it to hold it, and then twist it 1 or 2 times there. Now, I didn't measure exactly how far apart I put these, but I would just find somewhere at the bottom where it looked like there was a good spot, and I would very loosely tie these onto the back with those pipe cleaners that I have. And then I would just measure out by putting a hand's width in between where I put the next one. You see how I put my hand down, and that's how I knew how far to go to the next one. I think all in all, I put down a total of about 6 or 7 of these little bow combinations, and I really, really liked the way that the streamers gave it that 1980s vibe, and it just, everything about this wreath came out perfect the way that I wanted it to in the end. But when I started cutting those 30 inches off, and then I realized I couldn't use it, I was just like, what am I going to do now? And so I had to come up with some kind of an idea. And I'm really glad that this came together the way that I wanted it to. And it all has that 1980s Santa Claus Coca-Cola vibe going on. Now, when I finished, I did have to put some extra curls in some of these and actually cut some of these off if I felt like they needed to be cut off. I just kind of went around and straightened up the whole wreath and fluffed up my little bows and just gave everything a good fluffing and looked it over till I went to the next step. I found these snowflakes in my stash, and I believe these came from the Goodwill, but they are very possible that they're a Dollar Tree product, and they're kind of like a gold color right now, and I took them outside and spray painted them white. I'm going to take all these little balls that come from the Dollar Tree, and they're the tiny little ornaments, the little bitty ones, and I'm just going to place 3 of those together, and I'm going to glue them on top of each one of the little packets, or whatever you want to call it, of each of the little bows that I have on here. On some of these, I would add 2 red and 1 silver, and then on some of them, I would do 2 silver and 1 red. There was really no rhyme or reason to what I was doing. I just thought this looked really good. Then I brought those little snowflakes in when they had dried, and I laid them out according to where I wanted to glue them, and put just a little dab of glue on the back of them and stuck them very softly on the top of my wreath. And then I got these two little trees at Hobby Lobby. They were $2 a piece, which was a great deal because these are really good quality little trees, and they had little long bottom pieces on them. The wire was really thick and long, so I cut the wire down a little bit, and I just placed them. I wanted the white one to be a little bit taller than the red one, and I placed it in the wreath. I hope you like it. Hey, if you stuck with me through this whole video, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and please don't forget to hit that like button because that really helps me out on YouTube. It helps me get out there in front of other people that have never seen me before or had a chance to watch my videos. And DIY number 1 is a Woolworth Santa wall art. Okay, I got these two pieces from the thrift store. They say $4 on them, but it was half price day, so I only spent $4 on both of them. And as you see, they're just like wall art pieces. You can get these at any thrift store. You see them like overflowing on the shelves sometimes. They may not be the exact same, but you can find them for sure. And I've got all these different pictures, and these I printed out on rice paper. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you a little slower how I do this because everybody's been asking me how I get my images. Well, I just print them off from Google, but I'm going to show you that in a minute. I came across two different pictures of the Woolworths Santa, and I absolutely love this. Back in the 50s, this was the epitome of Christmas. All the kiddos would get so excited about their little catalogs that came out. And so this is what we're going to work with. The Santa Claus in the little airplane there is actually their 1952 catalog, the picture that was on the front. So what I'm going to do is, we don't like straight edges on anything when we decoupage. And so I just put some water on the end of a paintbrush, and I go around the pattern exactly where I want it to come apart at. And I like different shapes. I don't want it to be perfectly round, perfectly square, nothing like that, because it just looks more natural and it looks nicer that way. So when it was wet, I just go around and I literally just kind of rip it, but you still do this carefully. You don't want any of your words to rip, but it comes apart so easily. And I buy my rice paper off of Amazon. It's got like little fish on the front of it, and it's actually too big for my printer, so I have to cut an inch off of it because it's 9.5 inches, and you need 8.5 to go in your printer. So anyways, I just go around and I just rip this part off. I do the exact same thing for the red Woolworth Santa. I hope you guys can understand me well through this video. I have a really scratchy throat this morning. My family's fighting the flu, and my throat is swollen and sore itself. So I'm going to try to get through this the best I can, guys. I use the DIY liquid patina. It's just like Mod Podge, but it's thinner, and I like it better. All I'm going to do is put down a thin coat all over the part where I want my Woolworth Santa to stick. And I start off in the middle and use my fingers to kind of smooth it out. I start off from the center and move my way out because that helps keep the bubbles and the wrinkles down. I love to decoupage with rice paper because there's a lot less wrinkles than with napkins. I'm going to do the exact same thing here, put down my thin coat and put down my blue Santa. You see I start off in the center and work my way out and use my fingers to get all of the wrinkles out. Then you just totally let that dry. You can either let it air dry or you can cheat like I do and use some heat. Now the heat takes those bubbles right back out if there are any. I want to show you this sideways and show you, look at how there are no wrinkles in this. If there were any wrinkles, that heat will take it right out. Now I'm going to use the Dixie Belle's clear wax, the best dang wax, and I'm going to go around this bottom portion and just a little bit on the sides of the pictures there. Then I'm going to use my DIY black wax and do the exact same thing. I'm going to put very little bit of black wax on my brush. The reason why I put that clear wax down first is because the black wax is not hard to get off, but if you put down clear wax underneath it, it makes it a lot easier to maneuver and get that wax exactly where you want. I don't want any kind of really dark images, but I do want those scrolly patterns to stick out. So I just very lightly went over this, and then I just used a baby wipe to very lightly kind of dab it and get the excess off where I wanted it. And then you just stop whenever you're happy with the way it looks. I get these cute little sprigs from Amazon. They are in my Amazon store if you want them. A bunch of them comes in a package. And I'm just going to clip the little bottom part off with my wire cutters. I knew I wanted to use them, but I wasn't sure where I was going with this piece yet. But for now, I just clipped the bottom part off of these. Now, the next little part I can't take credit for because I held it up and asked my husband, well, what do you think? And he said, I just think it needs some kind of color behind the little scrolly stuff. Now, let me tell you, most of the time I think that man has no idea what he's talking about. But every little once in a while, I think that, you know, he's a little bit of a genius. So I held some red felt up, just cheapo Walmart red felt, and it looked excellent. So I just cut it down to size and used my hot glue gun to glue it to the back of the little scrolly pattern, and it actually looks like something that would have came from that time period. I actually got a pack of these little ornaments from Hobby Lobby. 2 of them say joy and 2 of them say Merry. And I took the 2 words joy, and I'm going to put one down at the bottom, and then that little sprig that I cut off from my little pieces of Amazon, my little Amazon sprigs. And then the other one, I'm going to put it on the top of the Santa and another one of the little sprigs. And by the way, at Hobby Lobby, these are $2.99 originally, but with 60% off, it's just a little bit over $1, maybe about $1.10. I took this Dollar Tree candy cane ribbon and just went around the edges where the little scrolly met the actual picture there because I still felt like it didn't look finished. So I just put that on the top and the bottom, and actually this little candy cane ribbon looks very retro to me also. I hope you like this one. I love it. If you're enjoying my content so far, there's a few things I'd like to ask you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that little red button and subscribe. It's totally free. There's a bell beside it, and when you click that bell, YouTube's going to let you know every single time that I upload a video. And don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. That's the like button, because that really helps me out on YouTube. And now I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Go over there and check me out too. And I wanted to show you guys what Costway sent me. Now, Costway is a company that, to me, it reminds me of Big Lots. They have a lot of the same thing as Big Lots. It's online. You can go and order your stuff there. And I have a coupon for you guys. It's going to be in the description box down below. They sent me that beautiful wreath that I just showed you on the front door. This is our Christmas tree this year. And then they also sent me this little blow up, which for now, yes, we do have it inside our house, but my grandson gets so excited because we haven't got all of our blowouts up yet. It's baby Jesus in the manger scene. Then they also sent me, the pack came with the wreath that was on the front door, these 2 Christmas trees that are in the little buckets, I guess you could call them, the little urns, and they are also light up. It all matches. It's got the little red berries on it, and then they also sent me a 9-foot garland that goes with that piece, and the garland is going up my stairway here. We have a spiral staircase, and it's perfect to put a garland up and down every year, and I'm going to show you what it looks like with the lights on also. I would show you a complete tour of my Christmas house, but we don't have everything up yet, so as of right now, I just wanted to make sure that you saw what Costway sent me. I think it's very, very pretty. The little cabin there that lights up, that is from Cracker Barrel last year. And then the black reindeer was a gold reindeer from Dollar General that I just painted black. I think it just makes all of your reindeer look very elegant when you paint them black. On the right side of my fireplace, that little elk that counts down how many days left till Christmas, I got that at Hobby Lobby for about $5 after the 60% off sale. But I really do love these little trees. I wish they had more lights on them, to be honest with you. But you put your little batteries in it, and your little battery pack hides in the urn at the bottom. But I am very pleased with it. I think it's very beautiful, and I'm going to leave that coupon in the description below. And a company called Tailored Canvases told me that I could pick any size of canvas that I wanted, and I absolutely love this one. It was my favorite. Fritz is our last name, and then Saudi Daisy, Tennessee is the city that I live in, and we've got established in 2004. That's our married date, and I just love it. Fritz Farmhouse. I'm going to leave their information in the description box below. It would make an amazing Christmas gift. And I bought this other canvas at Hobby Lobby about 2 or 3 years ago. These are only about $25 to $30 after their little discount. And it's the baby Jesus. And I just think this is so beautiful. Mary and Joseph are holding hands while they're looking at baby Jesus. And the beam of light is going on his face. That is my favorite thing out of all of my Christmas decor, guys. I think this is about a 24 by... maybe about a 24 by 20, I'm not really sure. But these are at Hobby Lobby. Now let's get back into DIY number 2. This one is a beautiful Christmas hat box. I got this gorgeous hat box at Hobby Lobby. It normally was $11.99, but I got the 60% off, and so I only paid $4.60 for it. And I just keep some of my little bits and bobs for Christmas inside of it. And what I want to do is put some of my IOD transfers on it, because Christmas is almost here, and I have barely used any of my IOD transfers, which is a shocker. Well, you know, I'm doing my house in a woodland type theme this Christmas. I've got a lot of red birds and just a lot of different woodland animals and such. So I went through all the different IOD pieces, and I settled in on this beautiful bear and some gorgeous pine picks that's going to go around him. And you know, if you've ever seen me do the IOD before, you basically just take the backing off of the piece that you're going to use, and you lay it down, and then you're going to use your little tool that they send you, and you're going to rub it, and it's just going to come off on your piece. Now, I'm kind of peeling it up as I'm rubbing it with this piece because it helps it to stick so much better. And guys, don't forget my friend Lori over at Milton's Daughter. She has all of your IOD needs. She has all crafting needs, really. She sells paint. She sells crackle. She sells anything that you can imagine. The rice paper that I use. So you guys go over and check her out over at Milton's Daughter. I'll leave her information in the description box below. And on most things, you get a 10% off if you use Crafty Cathy 10. So I'm going to leave that info down below. And I'm doing the exact same thing here throughout this. It's just repetitive. I'm just laying down my piece and using my little tool that they sent me to scratch it onto my beautiful hat box. What I absolutely love about the IOD transfers is that you can put one on top of the other and they just kind of blend in. They look so good that way. And I love to add them together to make a beautiful scene. So I saved my bear for last because I wanted him right in the very front and I didn't want any of him covered up. And I couldn't help myself. I absolutely love the little red berries, and I had to add those here and there as I was layering my little piece. Now here's the package of little ornaments I told you earlier on my first DIY that I got that said Joey and Mary. They were normally $2.99. They're 60% off. So I think I paid less, right around $1 for these. And you get 4, and they're beautiful as they are, but I wanted to spice them up with a little bit of glitter. So what I did was just put a little bit of Mod Podge on them, and I put this very fine silver glitter. Y'all know that I'm out of my diamond glitter, which is my very favorite. I get it at Walmart, and it's a brand called Soleil or Soleil. I'm not sure how you say it. But guys, that diamond glitter is beautiful. It looks like white crystal snow or like sugar almost when you put it on. And at Christmas, I use that as an excuse to go hog wild with the glitter. I know. And I put a little bit of my fine red glitter on here too. And I just kind of went back and forth almost to make it look like a little candy cane. Now on the second one that I did, I wanted to kind of tone it down a little bit. And I did mostly silver because the piece is already red. So I just wanted to see what it looked like if I put a little bit of silver. And this is also my excuse to use little things. You know, my personal opinion is when I'm doing the retro stuff for Christmas, a lot of the stuff back in the 70s and 80s was almost kind of tacky. You know what I'm saying? It was just kind of like real glittery and bright and candy caney, and it almost had a tackiness to it. I mean, please don't hate me for saying that. That's just my personal opinion. At least our stuff was tacky. Hey, I live in Tennessee, and tacky was about all we could get, and we were tickled to death to get it. So I just put a little bit of hot glue on the one that had mostly silver, and I put it on my little hat box. Then I just added one of my tiny bows that I get from Amazon. And guys, this one is done. I wanted it to be simple, but I love this one. Let me know what you think. The last one is going to be simple, quick, and easy. It is a retro sleigh. I found this gorgeous sleigh for only $2 at the thrift store, and I just knew it had to come home with me. I took it outside and I gave it 2 coats of my Rust-Oleum 2 times in the color white. Yes, this does say $3 on the bottom, but it was $1 off, so I got it for 2. And I can't believe it's a really good size sleigh. Now the first thing that I did was lay down a piece of green felt down inside the bottom, and then I just put one of those squares of the floral foam, and that way I can take it out when I want to. I got these tags. They're normally $3.99 from Hobby Lobby, but with 60% off, I paid about $1 a piece, and look how gorgeous these are. They're very full, and they look like real pine. I put 3 in there, 2 in the back and 1 in the front. And then this piece I got from Hobby Lobby. It is normally $10, but with the 60% off, I only paid $4. And I cut it into pieces so that we can use it all throughout this piece here. And you see, I do the same thing on all of my florals. What I add to one side, I try to add to the other side and just make it cohesive. Like here in the front, I'm putting some red snowy berries, and on the other side, I'm going to place some berries. I just try to do the same thing on both sides so it looks cohesive and looks nice. And I put my tallest piece in the very center because that's where your eye kind of goes to, is the center of the piece when you put your tallest piece in there. This green glittery flower piece that I just put in, I got this a few years ago after Christmas at Hobby Lobby, but it's one of their ornaments and I love it. I couldn't figure out which of my little retro signs I wanted to stick right in the center, but I went with this one from Walmart. It was $1.28 and it's got a little snowman. It says, "Let it snow." And pretty much this is done. I didn't want to overwork it. I put a couple of these little gold ornaments inside. I just kind of placed them here and there. Then I had some smaller ornaments, and of course these are from the Dollar Tree, and I just cut the little hangers off of them, and I have red ones and silver ones, and I like to put my little ornaments and things like this in threes. I just think it looks better. It just goes well. I put a couple in the front, a couple in the back, and then anywhere where you're going to be able to see that floral foam, I just stick that polyfill, or I will take like the stuffing out of an old pillow and put it in there. And on my last video, if you remember, I made these little red and white streamers to go on that Santa Coca-Cola wreath, and I stuck one right up on the top of that little retro snowman sign because I thought it just kind of gave it a little something. And then this is a little piece of mesh that I just had left over from that wreath. It's just a little white mesh, nothing special. I just stuffed that in the back because I thought it looked cute fluffed out. And that's all there is to this one. I hope you like this one.
The wonders of life got the prettiest side for everyone to enjoy. Standing up close by the Christmas tree, glimmering light, I am right where I wanna be. I will be home for a couple of days, wander around with you. You and me in the cold, thought it'd never be true. Wherever I go, I got you. Oh, I have stopped running.
And as promised, I'm going to show you guys how I get my images off of Google, and I just print them onto rice paper or onto regular paper or whatever we're looking for. The first step that you do is go onto the Google app on your phone. And now I have an iPhone, so I think it's important to let you know that my iPhone, because it's a touch phone, and then you just put in whatever you're looking for. In this case, it's vintage Christmas clip art. And I slowed this way down. It's very important. Up at the top, there's about 4 different options. There's the word all, images, shopping, maps, and videos, I think. You pick that second one that says images, okay? And you just scroll down through here until you find the image that you like. The first one, let's say we like this first Santa. You just touch it with your finger, and then a button's going to pop up, and the second option on that button says Add to Photos. You hit Add to Photos, and it's literally going to go to your photos on your phone. Now let's go down through here and let's look for our next image. Let's say, for example, we want this cute little retro reindeer. You push that and go to that second option again, which is Add to Photos. Now, we're going to go into our photos and we're going to look, and all of these guys that we just put on here are in our photos. Now, we put in vintage Christmas clip art, but you know what? You may be searching for reindeer. You can put in there retro reindeer, whatever you're looking for. That's what you put on Google, and then always hit the word images. You just touch the image and Add to Photos, and it's in your photos. Now here I'm going to my photo app, and look, here they are. There's the reindeer, there's the Santa Claus, and then there is another picture of the reindeer. I must have put it in there 2 times, but you get the point. That's all I do. And then I go down to the bottom left, and I hit that little button where I can scroll down and hit the word print, and my printer is already hooked up to my thing here because it's got Bluetooth. I hit print, and boom, I print out that picture. And if you have rice paper already placed in your printer, or tissue paper, or regular paper, cardstock, whatever is in your printer, that's what your image is going to print on. So if you want to make this reindeer on rice paper, you would already have your rice paper in your printer. And the rice paper that I purchased off of Amazon is in my Amazon cart, just to let you guys know. I hope that was easy enough for you guys to understand. And just to recap really quickly, you go into Google. Let's say we're going to look for some Frosty. And you always also can put in like you want free Frosty pictures, okay? So here we're going to put in Christmas free Frosty pictures, okay? Make sure you hit the word images that's right there, right underneath it. And look, you go down through there and all these pictures of Frosty popped up. There's Frosty as we know him. You touch it and hit add to photos. And boom, Frosty is going to be right here in our photos with all the rest of our stuff. And then like I said, I just print him right off. And that's all you do to get your pictures from Google. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I thank each and every one of y'all for coming and spending your time with me and watching my crafts and supporting my channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. And please, please give me a thumbs up because that really helps me out on YouTube. It helps to get me out there in front of people who've never seen me before. And I would love for everybody to be a part of our big old family here at Crafty Kathy because we always got room for more. And I'm tickled pink that we're already at 20,000. I'm so thankful, and I couldn't have got here without you guys. I love y'all, and I will see you soon. I'm going to try to get back on schedule and have my next video out Tuesday at 6:30. And I love you guys. And just, if you will, say a little prayer for my family that's been sick. My daughter's got the flu right now, and that's why this video was so late. But I love y'all. Y'all stay healthy, and I will see you Tuesday. Bye.